Let me be as clear as possible. This isn't just about a bad play call. This isn't just about one loss in a long NFL season. What we are watching in Cleveland right now looks a whole lot like a head coach sabotaging the best young quarterback this franchise has seen in years. And if someone in that building doesn't step in and stop it, they're going to waste a star before he even gets started. Shadur Sanders did everything you could possibly ask from a young quarterback. He walked into that game against the Tennessee Titans and turned the field into his personal showcase. He threw for well over 300 yards, dropped 3 touchdown passes, and even led the team on the ground with a clutch rushing score that reminded everyone that, yes, this dude can move when he needs to. This is a 5th-round pick playing like he's been the face of the franchise for 5 seasons. Across from him was Cam Ward, the golden child, the number 1 pick. The guy scouts called can't miss, the future of the position. And what did we see? We saw Cam Ward struggle to move the ball, barely crack 120 yards through the air, and look average while Shadur was carving up the field like a surgeon. One quarterback looked like a project on paper and a superstar on the field. The other looked like a superstar on draft night and a game manager on Sunday. And somehow, after all that, the Browns still walked off the field with a loss. The box score says 31-29, but the real story is how they got there. Because this game didn't turn on a mistake from Shadur Sanders. It turned on a decision from Kevin Stefanski. And that decision exposed everything that's wrong with the Browns right now. Picture the moment. Cleveland is dead in the water. The run defense is leaking yards. Special teams looks like it showed up late. The Titans are bullying them at home. But Shadur refuses to let the thing die. He takes the field and starts dealing. Quick outs, timing routes, deep shots, check downs when the coverage rolls. He strings together an 80-yard drive, like he's running a 7-on-7 against air. No panic, no happy feet, no stupid throws into double coverage. Just calm, controlled, elite quarterback play. Then comes the throw. 2nd and goal. 7 yards out. He drops back, senses the rush, hangs in just long enough, and launches a gorgeous fade to the back corner. The kind of ball that drops in like it was guided by GPS. Touchdown. The stadium wakes up. Fans who were ready to leave are suddenly on their feet again. Sideline guys who are staring at the turf are chest bumping. For one brief moment, it feels like Cleveland actually has something real at quarterback, something they can believe in. All they need now is a 2-point conversion to tie it. You've got a quarterback who's been unstoppable for the last drive. You've got a defense on its heels. You've got every ounce of momentum in your favor. There is no reason on earth to take the ball out of number Shadur's hands. And that's exactly what Kevin Stefanski does. Instead of letting the guy who just saved the game touch the ball one more time, with the season swinging in the balance, Stefanski sends him to the sideline and trots out a gimmick. Wildcat. Direct snap to the running back. A play that, by all accounts, they barely even rep in practice. The ball gets snapped, the timing is off, the back looks confused, the blocking collapses, and the whole thing dies in a pile of bodies before it ever has a chance. No read, no throw, no decision for your hot-handed quarterback to make. Just a wasted play and a wasted opportunity. Meanwhile, Shadur is forced to jog off the field, helmet on, watching the play from the sideline like some random backup holding a clipboard. You could call it a failed 2-point attempt. You could call it a bad play call. But let's be honest about what it really said. I don't trust my quarterback. And that's the problem. Because this isn't a one-time thing. There is a pattern here with Kevin Stefanski and his quarterbacks. We've seen it before. A guy flashes, plays through pain, drags the franchise out of a dark spot, and instead of building around him, supporting him, giving him full control of the offense, the coach nitpicks, second guesses, and slowly pulls the rug out from under him, always hunting for reasons why the QB isn't the guy, instead of leaning into the things he does at a high level. With Shadur, it feels even worse. This is a rookie, a mid-round pick, a player most teams expected to develop quietly behind a veteran. And instead, he steps onto the field and instantly plays like a top-tier starter. Most organizations would treat that like a miracle. In Cleveland, it almost feels like an inconvenience. Let's rewind to the start of that game for a second, because what happened in the opening minutes set the tone for everything that followed. The kickoff coverage? Disaster. Massive lane, poor angles, and the Titans start their drive basically already in the red zone. First offensive snap for Cleveland, negative yardage. Second snap, nothing special. Third snap, protection melts. Simmons and Harold crash through untouched, and Shadur gets swallowed whole. Then, as if the mess wasn't big enough, they can't even line up to punt without jumping early and backing themselves up inside their own 10. That wasn't Shadur melting under pressure. That was a team not ready to play football. That was coaching. That was preparation. That was discipline, or the lack of it, And yet, through all of that, through busted blocks, blown assignments, and a defense that was getting gashed on the ground by a team that's barely been able to run on anyone, Shadur kept answering. Down 7-0. He answered. Down 14-3? He answered again. Every time the Browns needed life, it came from number Shadur's right arm, and when it counted, his legs. That 7-yard designed run he punched in wasn't some lucky scramble. It was a straight-up call that trusted his vision and toughness. He followed his blocks, saw a crease, and hit it like a running back. That's not a pocket statue. That's a quarterback who can do whatever you need him to do. Meanwhile, people spent the entire draft cycle drooling over Cam Ward's movement skills, his off-platform magic, his ability to extend plays with his legs. And, yeah, Ward can move. Nobody denies that. But let's not pretend he outplayed Shadur. He didn't. Not in this game. Not on that field. Not when the lights were on. Shadur outthrew him, outread him, and outperformed him start to finish. The difference is that Cam Ward's coach trusted him enough to keep the ball in his hands when it mattered. Shadur's coach did not. That's the part that should infuriate Browns fans, because this isn't just bad luck. This isn't just a coin flip gone wrong. This feels like ego. Think about the politics in that building. You're Kevin Stefanski, offensive mind, the guy who's supposed to know quarterback play better than anyone. You've hitched your reputation to expensive veterans, high-profile trades, and your own evaluations. Then a fifth rounder walks in and suddenly looks better than every carefully chosen option that came before him. Every time Shadur lights up a defense, it's a reminder that the front office got a franchise quarterback on clearance while you were looking somewhere else. Some coaches embrace that. They swallow their pride, pivot, and say, "We found our guy, let's roll." Others double down. They get stubborn. They start coaching like they're trying to be right instead of trying to win. And when you call a Wildcat on a game-tying 2-point conversion right after your quarterback just diced up a defense for 80 yards, it doesn't look like strategy. It looks like self-preservation. Now think about what that does to a young quarterback's head. You've spent the entire afternoon fighting like hell, carrying a sloppy team on your back, making high-level reads, taking hits, putting points on the board. You calmly walk your offense down the field in the fourth quarter, make a money throw in the red zone, and the stadium erupts. In your mind, you're ready for the next call. You're ready to huddle up, see the formation, read the defense, and finish the job. Instead, the coach waves you to the sideline. You're out. Helmet on, standing there, watching someone else take the snap for the most important play of the game. You're not hurt. You're not gassed. You're not playing poorly. You're just benched for a trick play. That gets in your head. It has to. You start wondering, what else do I have to do? What more can I prove? At what point am I actually the guy in this coach's eyes? Now, credit to Shadur, because everything we've seen from him so far, the way he handles press conferences, the way he talks about faith, forgiveness, and not holding grudges, shows a level of maturity you don't always get from somebody his age. He isn't throwing his coach under the bus. He isn't pointing fingers. He keeps it classy, keeps it positive. That says a lot about who he is. But that doesn't mean what's happening to him is okay. Mental toughness is great. It doesn't give a coach the right to keep putting his quarterback in no-win situations just to protect his own image. At some point, someone above Kevin Stefanski has to look at the film without emotion. No politics, no ego, just football. Turn on the tape. Watch the throws. Look at how often Shadur is bailing this offense out on third down. Look at how many drives would die without him hitting tight window throws and dropping dimes on the sideline. Look at how the entire stadium feels different when the ball is in his hands. Then ask yourself, is this really the guy you want to take the ball away from with the game on the line? The answer is obvious. The only person acting like it isn't obvious is the one with the headset and the play sheet. And that brings us to the question nobody in that building seems brave enough to face. Is Kevin Stefanski coaching this team to win games? Or is he coaching this team to protect his own reputation as a quarterback guru? Because right now, it looks a whole lot like the second one. Calling a gadget play in that moment wasn't just a tactical mistake. It was a statement. It said, I'd rather live or die on something that looks clever on paper than on the arm of the quarterback I didn't want in the first place. That's not leadership. That's insecurity. That's not belief in your players. That's fear of being wrong. And if you are Jimmy Haslam, or anyone else cutting checks in that organization, you cannot let that mentality drag your franchise down for another season.